Hi, folks. I'm Jonathan Phoenix, the Carolina Storyteller, and with me today is the one and only
Adams to Adams.
That's right, my son Adam is back with me, and we're doing another bonus episode for the Let Me Tell You a Story podcast. This is Let Me Tell You the Movie. Let's get on it.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Not this week.
What do you mean?
This week, I'm taking over your show, and I'm making it something a bit more appropriate.
What are you talking about?
Well, you may have heard there's a horror movie coming out that's all the talk right now.
Oh, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy. It's supposed to be a great movie. That's what you want to talk about, is Five Nights at... How do you know anything about Five Nights at Freddy?
Well, Five Nights at Freddy's the movie.
Yeah.
It's based off the video game series.
There's a video game series called Five Nights at Freddy?
Yes, there's a video game series named Five Nights at Freddy's made by Scott Cawthon.
So, what's this... So what, you know everything about this game or something?
You could say something like that. I'm well-versed, but I'm sure there's people out there who know more than me. But I can tell you a thing or two.
So, this is a video game-based movie. That kind of worries me. I mean, video game-based movies have had problems in the past. Remember Super Mario Brothers?
In the past, but recently we've gotten hits like Sonic the Hedgehog's movie and its sequel. The Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, that was really good.
We've even got Castlevania, the series. That was fantastic.
This is true.
We've gotten great video game adaptations as of late.
Okay, so tell me about this series. What are we going on here? What is Five Nights at Freddy's?
So when you were a kid, do you remember those animatronic mascots that you would see at pizza places and at Disneyland and stuff like that?
Yes, when I was little, we used to go to this place called Showbiz Pizza, and they had arcades and they had like cheap pizza, and you'd sit at these long tables, and then they had like these robotic characters that would play music for you and talk to you, and they'd sing you happy birthday. It's your birthday. It was called Showbiz Pizza, and it went Showbiz Pizza, where a kid can be your kid. And today they've got Chuck E. Cheese, but it's just not the same.
No, it's not. It's a bit outdated nowadays. But when you were a kid, didn't you ever think that those animatronic characters were a bit, I don't know, creepy?
Yeah, the bear did kind of give me some weird vibes.
It just doesn't look right? It kind of creeped out just a little bit.
Yeah, they don't move. Their movements were not natural.
Ever heard of that? Have you ever had that nightmare where you're in the pizzeria or the anywhere and the animatronics start moving around?
No, I haven't. But it does sound like it would be very terrifying.
I'm pretty sure there's some of those in some horror movies too, where they're sneaking around a dark area and the animatronic puppets come to life, and it's a big jump scare for everybody. I'm sure it's in a movie or two.
No, I don't think a movie or two's done that yet. At least not animatronic puppets. I mean, they've had killer dolls. You've got Chucky. You've got Dead Silence. Annabelle. I mean, and their ghost stories. Robert the doll. Annabelle again.
Creepy dolls and these giant creepy animatronics are kind of hand in hand a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, what's the video game?
So, this developer named Scott Cawthon.
Yeah.
In the late 2010s, early 2000s, I'm not quite sure, he began his game development career. Scott Cawthon was a devout Christian who made Christian video games like The Pilgrim's Passage, an RPG game from around the 2000s.
I've never heard of it.
I'm not surprised. They weren't exactly the most well-received or popular games at the time.
So they weren't your Halo 3s and your Fallout 4s?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
I should note, though, that when 2013 rolled around,
yeah,
he made this little game called Tyke and Sons Lumber Company or something like that. It was a lumber company tycoon game. You ever played like Roller Coaster Tycoon?
You know I love Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
And Roller Coaster Tycoon, SimCity, those are some of my favorite games.
It was a lumber tycoon where you grow trees and then cut wood and then you sell it and you get money and you upgrade your lumber company.
See, these tycoon games are going crazy. They got Farm Tycoon, they've got Trucking Tycoon, they've got Railroad Tycoon. Now he made a Lumber Tycoon. Yeah,
but it had more of a cartoon style. In fact, the main mascot was this little beaver dude named Tyke, I think. And he was a small cartoon badger. And
he was a beaver dude that was a badger?
No, sorry, he was just a beaver. My bad.
Okay, just making sure.
He had this really big cartoon style, and the game wasn't received well. Much like his previous forays into game development. However...
it sounds like he was going very niche.
Mm-hmm. However, one of the reviewers for that game, Jim Sterling, She had some things to say about the game. She didn't review it well, but one thing that she noted is that the characters in the game reminded her of those creepy animatronics that she would go to those places when she was a kid.
Oh, well, that definitely wouldn't do well for a tycoon game if your characters are creepy and give you flashbacks to childhood nightmares.
Yeah, so Scott Cawthon got a bit dejected.
Well, he probably
You
did.
would be. Your game isn't being reviewed well. Your mascot character that you made is being seen as creepy.
Yeah.
He got really dejected, and he started getting sad. And then he had an idea.
That's usually how it starts.
If his characters were creepy, why doesn't he make a creepy game?
Okay.
See, Scott Cawthon himself had some experiences with creepy animatronics when he was a kid, and he was inspired by them in order to make a game called Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's was released in 2014. That's nearly a decade ago.
So wait. This horror movie that's coming out, and the trailers look really good, but it's based off of a game from 10 years ago?
Yes. Nearly
Okay.
10 years ago.
And so was this game on like PlayStation or something back then?
It was only on PC. It was released on Steam in November of 2014.
November of 2014. Wow. So
Yeah.
9 years ago almost. And was it received well?
When the game came out, it took the internet by storm.
No way.
Let's Players would play the game, and those videos would get millions upon millions of views. Markiplier's a Let's Player on YouTube.
Yeah, you've shown me Markiplier. Hi, this is Markiplier.
Hello, everybody. This name is Markiplier. When he did the game, that video of his first part of his playthrough of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 has, I think, 180 million views.
Wow, that's a lot of views. You know, if we could get 180 million on, just this episode, I'd be happy. It's not going to happen, but I'd be happy. So, tell me about the game. Like, what do you do in this game?
In the game, you play as a night guard employee named Mike Schmidt, who's working at a place called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. It's an animatronic pizzeria where they have four mascots: the aptly named Freddy Fazbear, and his other bandmates, Bonnie the Bunny, Chica the Chicken, and Foxy the Pirate.
Okay, I mean, I have done my share of nighttime security before, and I mean, I've worked in creepy places, but what's the big deal about being in nighttime security? You got to walk around and make sure the animatronics are in place. Are people trying to steal them?
Actually, in this game, the building is quite small. And it has camera systems lined up all around the place, so you don't even have to move from your office.
Wait. So you telling me that the entire game you spend in one room?
In one room. That was crazy for its time, too.
Yeah.
When the internet was being swept by, like, Amnesia, The Dark Descent, which was very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's in the way that it took the YouTube by storm with people playing the game all over the place.
I remember that, yeah.
It was crazy when this indie game, the indie horror game genre, was mostly these free roam, first-person horror games made in FPS Maker or something like that. But Scott Cawthon didn't use any of those. He used this engine called ClickTeam Fusion. Now, ClickTeam is a engine designed specifically for point-and-click games.
So wait. So this is a point-and-click game where you're a nighttime security guard. Okay. You're a nighttime security guard. You're stuck in one room. It's a point-and-click game. And you're just guarding a restaurant that has animatronics in it. What's so damn scary about that?
Well, the animatronics aren't your regular animatronics.
What do you mean?
They're very advanced.
Advanced? How advanced?
Too advanced. Especially for when the game is supposed to take place in the 1980s, I think.
So the game takes place in the 1980s. What's so advanced about these animatronics?
They can walk around on their own.
Oh, so you got walking around animatronics? That doesn't seem that scary.
Well, they wander around the restaurant, and if they see you, as the aptly named phone guy explains to you, when the animatronics see you, they think that you're an endoskeleton. An endoskeleton is the inside parts of an animatronic. But
like the Terminator from Terminator 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. It sees the endoskeleton, and thinks that you are an animatronic without a suit. So it just takes you to the thing and shoves you into a mascot suit filled with metal bits. In fact, when you lose in the game and an animatronic catches you, you see an image of yourself stuffed into a mascot suit with blood pouring out of its joints and an eyeball hanging out of the socket.
So,
your mangled corpse, all that's left.
So, just don't let them see you. You know, to stay out of their way.
That's why you have lights, cameras, and 2 doors on each side.
So you can just close the doors and then they can't bother you?
But the building's cheap, and they know that. You only have so much power that you can use during the night, and if you overuse the doors, you'll run out of power.
Wait. So you can't keep the doors closed?
No.
Why didn't they just buy regular doors? What in the hell? Who designed this building?
It's actually giant metal shutter doors that go like ka-tunk.
Oh my god. Okay. So what do? You just close the door when you see them coming?
Yep. Well, it depends. Bonnie and Chica will Bonnie heads to your left hallway. Chica heads to your right hallway. Those are the 2 main ones. Freddy Fazbear himself will actually slowly make his way through the pizzeria, then sneak inside of your office while one of the doors is open, and then jump scare you the next time you put your camera up to look at it.
Whoa, so he's actually in the office?
Yeah, he sneaks around the entire pizzeria. In fact, the only way you can see him in the camera is his 2 beady white eyes in the darkness.
Okay, so, I mean, how do you survive?
Oh, that's not all. Let's talk about Foxy the Pirate. Foxy the Pirate is a special case. He doesn't like it when he's not being watched. So you have to look at the cameras more. You have to check on Foxy. And if you don't, he gets more and more aggressive until he leaves his Pirate's Cove. And the next time you look at the left hallway, he's sprinting down towards your door. And if you don't close it in time, it's game over.
So if these things get to you, it's game over, but they each behave differently. Are they all there at the same time?
You have to deal with all of them at the same time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that does sound kind of difficult. And so you just do this for like, what, one night and then it's done?
Nope. It's 5 nights at Freddy's.
Oh.
So obviously.
Yeah, obvious. 5 nights. Okay.
No, there's 7.
7?
After you beat the final night, the 5th night, you unlock a secret 6th night.
Okay, you said there were 7 nights.
And then after that, you get a custom night.
A custom night.
Where you can increase and decrease the difficulty at your own choosing of each animatronic.
Okay, well, that does sound kind of... That sounds kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And so he struck gold with that game.
Absolutely. It took the world by storm.
So they made a single game and that's what the movie is based off of?
I wish. It's more
mean?
Complicated than that. But first, let's talk about the lore real quick.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
In the game, as you're checking the cameras, something strange will happen. Some hallucinations will begin to cloud your vision. Posters on the wall will change to news clippings telling about the stories and tragedies that have happened at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Wait, what stories and tragedies? What are you talking about?
Apparently, 5 kids went missing at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and they've never been found yet. The only clues towards where they are is the smell of rotting corpses coming from the animatronics.
Whoa. The animatronics smell like rotting corpses?
Yeah, they smell really, really bad.
And this place is actually still in business?
Yeah.
Wow. So, you've got 4 animatronics. Where'd the 5th kid go?
I kind of lied to you.
What do you mean?
There's actually 5 animatronics.
What?
If during the nights, if you look at one of the specific hallways, one of the posters can change into a golden Freddy. A Freddy suit that's yellow from head to toe. And when you look at that poster and you flip the camera down, it's laying limp in your office looking at you. And if you don't put up your camera, it jump scares you and then crashes your game.
So, wait. In the first game, they made something that will crash the game?
Yeah, on purpose. Like,
wow.
It'll close the game.
That's kind of terrifying. So, they made this game, and it took them 10 years to make a movie?
No.
Okay.
But, it's actually crazy.
So, what happened to these kids?
We'll get to that in the sequel, which is going to blow your mind. When Scott Cawthon released Five Nights at Freddy's, everybody knew, that there was something here. He had struck gold, and when you strike gold, you take that opportunity. Click Team Fusion being a very simple engine, it's not hard to make games for.
Okay.
So it took him 4 months to make the sequel and release it.
Are you kidding me? He had a sequel out in 4 months?
Five Nights at Freddy's 1 came out on November 10th, 2014.
Uh-huh.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out on March 2nd of 2015.
Holy... Whoa.
Five Nights at Freddy's 3 came out on July 23rd of 2015.
It seems like he was flooding the market with this.
Not Final Fantasy. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 came out in October of 2016. Five Nights at Freddy's sister location came out in December 4th of 2017. And then finally, in the main franchise, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator came out on June 27th, 2018, with two smaller games coming out after that.
Okay, so we're talking... You're at 6 games already in the span of 4 years.
Yes.
6 games in this series in 4 years' time.
Yes.
That's incredible. And these were all successes?
All successes. Each game bigger than the last.
And the story's progressing, apparently, through these games?
Yep.
So what's going on in this story that was so captivating that people kept going back for more?
What was captivating about the story was that the story wasn't told to you.
Well, how did you find out the story?
Like I said, in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you would find little news clippings and changes here and there about, this happened at this pizzeria, 5 kids went missing, rotting smells from the animatronics, stuff like that. You would find it hidden in the details. But there wasn't really a story. Basically, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, there were plenty of theories. There's literally an entire channel, Game Theory, that still has like 70 episodes on just Five Nights at Freddy's.
So it left it open for you to figure it out.
Figure it out. It was like one of those alternate reality games where it took the community together to figure out what was going on in this story. But
what did the community figure out?
Well, in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, there really wasn't that much to go on. You could really just figure out that 5 kids died in the pizzeria and are now haunting the animatronics that were left behind.
So these murderous animatronics were actually possessed by 5 kids, is what it seems like.
Well, actually, it was this thing called Remnant extracted from their bodies. But you don't find that out till like the 6th book or something like that.
Book? There are books based on this?
18 of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's get into Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 really leaned heavy into the lore implications of the story. One of the biggest things that the community immediately thought out, we're not going to really talk about the mechanics of each game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like, is it the same game over and over again, basically?
More or less. You sit in an office, you protect it from animatronics. Each animatronic has its own, patterns that you have to recognize.
Did they add new animatronics ever?
Of course. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, they add, what is it? Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, the Mangle, Withered Freddy, Withered Bonnie, Withered Chica, Withered Foxy, Balloon Boy, the Marionette, or we call him the Puppet now.
Wow, that
there were 10.
Sounds...
We went from 5 animatronics to 10 animatronics.
Doubling up the animatronics. So what happened in 2? What was the story that came out in 2? What did we get for the lore?
In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you find out that there's this mysterious figure who's clad in purple. Purple is a very important color in the series, as it annotates the main antagonist of the franchise. Now, when he came out, we didn't know what his name was. There was no name. It was just the Purple Guy. And that's what most people know him as.
The Purple Guy. Okay, so what does the Purple Guy do?
The Purple Guy is the perpetrator behind the murders of those 5 children.
Whoa. So the Purple Guy killed the 5 kids?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And what did he do with the kids after he killed them?
Well, he stuffed them into animatronics to cover his traces.
Oh my. Oh wow. Okay. Did he get caught?
Something worse, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So,
And this is in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. You find this out.
but here's the thing. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, there's new, souped-up versions of the animatronics from the previous game.
Yeah,
Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, the Mangle, which is a messed-up version of Toy Foxy that got left in, like, storage or something.
and, you know, just based off of what you're telling me, it would seem like the original 5 were possessed by the kids. What's up with these new ones?
Well, that was the crazy thing. When we found out that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was a prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Wait, so this is before?
The withered animatronics are actually from the previous location.
So, wait, Freddy Fazbear's has had 3 locations
So far.
And the animatronics have just constantly been killers?
Yeah, basically. In fact, there's a different reason why they kill you in Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
What's the reason in Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
Well, they say that they're super advanced, and I mean, like, even though it's in the past, they're more advanced than the ones that they use in the future. Because, if you didn't know, the withered animatronics from the previous location get taken and then souped up afterwards in order to make the location Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Okay, so the withered animatronics are the ones that get the kids stuffed in them in Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Yes.
Okay, so what did they soup up about the ones that were in Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
They have computers in their brains that can access a criminal database.
Uh-huh.
And when they see a criminal, they target and attack them.
Okay, so what does that have to do with the security guards? Security guards can't be criminals.
Unless you're playing as one.
Oh my gosh, in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 you're not a security guard?
No, you are.
So why are you playing as a criminal?
We'll get to that. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, whenever you die, there's a small chance that you can play these little mini-games that were styled after Atari 2600 video games. Not even NES, we're not talking pixels, we're talking blurry blocks on a screen.
Bytes,
basically. And these mini-games tell the story of the 5 children who got killed and possessed by...
So you can play the 5 children being killed?
Not really. It's difficult to say without showing you. You'd have to look it up and see for yourself. But there's one where Foxy has to run to the kids, and the kids get happy when he shows up. But then Foxy runs another time, and the purple guy has killed them all.
Wow, the purple guy's a dick.
Yeah, he is. It was around after Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We're gonna skip ahead just a little bit, then we're gonna go back. After the book. The first book came out a little bit after Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And we didn't really get anything from that. But the books are important because there are details that in the books that relate to the games. And even though that the book and the games are different canons, there are details that you need from the books in order to solve certain mysteries that are in the games.
So wait. You're telling me that he's got a series of books that have clues to the mysteries in the games. Now, you can beat the game without knowing these mysteries, but you can't understand the lore without knowing these mysteries? Is that what I'm understanding?
One of the big ones is that we actually learn the purple guy's name.
What's his name?
William Afton.
William Afton.
And
Why does that name sound familiar?
Well, because he's in the new movie as well.
That's right. He's played by,
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe's playing William Afton.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be really important for some reason. Mm-hmm. So, what is this William Afton guy?
William Afton is actually the person who designed the animatronics. Which is why he knows the fronts and backs of each location, able to lure in children with a animatronic suit.
Wait, he has an animatronic suit that he wears?
We'll get to spring locks in a minute. Let's go back to Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was also very important because that game was chock full of mysteries and secrets. For instance, one of the creepiest things is that when you're loading up the game, there are these weird images that can sometimes show up when you're just booting up the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Toy Bonnie, eyeless, just staring at you through the screen with absolutely no sound. Imagine seeing that while you're just loading up the game one night by yourself. And then after that, the game crashes and you get sent to desktop.
That does sound a little weird.
There were so many secrets and creepy little things that made FNAF 2, in my opinion, just so much more interesting and better than the first game.
Okay. So, FNAF 2 has all these creepy secrets and everything, and you learn a little bit more about the lore.
We should also talk about the puppet.
The puppet?
The puppet is a animatronic that looks like a slender puppet with a marionette mask, like one of those old theater masks, you know?
Yeah, the tragedy and whatever. Yeah, the happy or the sad face. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, in one of the mini games, we actually go back further than the location that's predecesses this location. We go back to the very first location.
What's the name of the very first location?
Fredbear's Family Diner.
Fredbear's Family Diner?
Now, we didn't figure out about this until, I think, FNAF 3 or 4. About Fredbear's Family Diner.
Okay.
Fredbear's Family Diner was the first ever Freddy Fazbear's location.
Okay, so...
And that's also where William Afton got his start on killing kids. There's a mini game where you play as a golden Freddy who has to walk around and give cake to the kids. And then while you're doing that, there's a kid outside who's locked outside. And he can't get in. And some guy drives by in a car, walks by, kills the kid, and then drives off.
And that's the purple guy.
It's a purple guy.
Okay.
William Afton. And that happened in Fredbear's Family Diner. At least I'm pretty sure. It's hard without, references. There's so much lore.
Alright, so...
Afterwards, that kid, I'm giving you details that you don't find out till later.
Well, let's try and keep it in the game series. Tell me what goes when we get further along.
Mm-hmm.
Don't confuse me here. I'm old.
Okay, so later we find out that kid actually is the puppet. And then the puppet takes the 5 murdered children and then puts their souls into the 5 animatronics in order to save them.
Okay. So, that's Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in Five Nights at Freddy's 3?
30 years later.
30 years. So we just time jump 30 years? Wait, 30 years from Five Nights at Freddy's 1 or 30 years from Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
30 years from Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Okay, so we've jumped 30 years. Five Nights at Freddy's has probably been closed by now, I hope.
Absolutely.
Because there's apparently kids dying.
Absolutely.
Okay, and security guards might be dying.
Yep.
So they've closed it.
Yes.
So how in the hell is there still a Freddy Fazbear's?
Well, Freddy Fazbear's, you just said, there's been killings and scary stories and dead kids and night guards that get murdered over the phone. That place is creepy. That place has got some bad juju.
Yeah, so we're not reopening it or anything, right?
No.
Okay.
But we are going to make a business out of how creepy it was.
What?
Fazbear Frights.
Are you serious?
There's this guy, and he bakes this building. It's an old pizzeria. I don't even think it's related to Freddy Fazbear's. It's just this old building. And he starts filling it with Freddy Fazbear's memorabilia. And it's supposed to be like this horror attraction about how these horrifying creatures were responsible for the deaths of so many children. Nobody figures out that it was William Afton.
Okay. So he just gets the memorabilia. How do we end up with a Five Nights at Freddy's game from a place filled with horror memorabilia?
Well, in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, there aren't any threats on the first night.
The first night's just fine?
Yeah, the first night you're just there and everything's fine. I mean, the place is creepy, of course. It's a horror attraction. There's weird, arcade machines defunct. There's Freddy masks and animatronic husks. And then the second night, something comes in. They got an animatronic, a real one, and they're gonna bring it into the place as an attraction for people to see.
Okay, so is it one of the actual animatronics from before?
It's an animatronic from Fredbear's Family Diner.
Wait, that was the first restaurant.
Yeah. It was actually a spring-lock suit of Golden Bonnie.
Golden Bonnie?
So in Fredbear's Family Diner, there were only 2 animatronics. There was Golden Freddy, or Fredbear, and there was Golden Bonnie.
Okay.
Golden Bonnie was the suit that was used by William Afton to lure kids into the back room to murder them.
Oh, wow. And they get this suit and drag it into this new shop?
Yep.
Okay. But it's a spring-lock suit. What does that mean?
The spring lock system is a system where an animatronic can be used as a robotic endoskeleton to make the animatronic move and do all the animatronic things. But you can also take a wrench and move all of the machinery out of the way so you can climb inside and wear it as a costume.
Okay, so it's kind of like an easy on-off costume where you can just put an animatronic in to do the work, or you can take the machine out and you can be the machine.
Not take it out, you just kind of scrunch it up against the sides.
Okay, so this
funny thing, that's actually how they use them in the movie too.
Really?
The animatronics also double as costumes.
Okay, so this spring lock suit, they just bring it in, and what happens that makes it so creepy?
It starts moving.
On its own?
On its own.
With nobody in it?
Oh. So, let's talk about the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Yes, that's where we need to go.
You learn that while Freddy Fazbear's was closed down, William Afton was on his own in one of the defunct old buildings, there to make sure that nobody ever figured out about what he did there. Basically, doing cleanup before the entire place gets shut down for good. He starts breaking all the animatronics and disassembling them so that he can free the souls and take the parts, and nobody will ever find out about the kids who got killed and stuffed inside.
Okay.
However, on the 5th and final night of the game, there's one more minigame. There's minigames all over the place.
Yeah.
There's one more minigame where you play as one of the ghosts of the children who were killed.
Oh.
And you find William Afton. William Afton gets surrounded by 5 ghosts that are surrounding him, and of course, he gets scared. Ghosts? I mean, you'd be scared too. If the ghosts of the 5 children that you killed started chasing after you.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
So he gets panicked, and he starts running around, and he's trying to find somewhere to hide. And he finds it. He hides inside the Golden Bonnie costume. Problem. The spring locks are not the best made thing. They only move the machinery out of the way so that you can climb inside. But if something were to, I don't know, wet the mechanisms or something like that, like a humid old room with puddles and dripping water,
yeah,
the spring locks snap shut on William Afton's body.
So William Afton is trapped in the spring lock Bonnie.
Not trapped inside, he gets mutilated and killed by the machinery jabbing into his body and ripping apart his entire... mutilating him, goring him.
Okay, so he is killed by the Springlock Bonnie, but he's also still inside the Springlock Bonnie.
His corpse is still in there.
And they brought the Springlock Bonnie into this place, and so the Springlock Bonnie starts moving around and hunting the security guard?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Do any other animatronics show up?
Only the phantoms of the remnants of the shells that are left behind. Like, the place is really run down, so sometimes you have to pull up like a second pad and repair some of the broken systems. But sometimes you'll see like the Phantom of Freddy jump out at you and do a fake jump scare that doesn't kill you like all the other jump scares do.
But it's still a jump scare.
It's still a jump scare, and it messes with your systems.
Okay. So, following along...
The only animatronic that can actually kill you is Golden Bonnie. Or as we like to call him in this game, Springtrap.
Yeah, Springtrap, okay. Yeah, well, that sounds messed up. So they're ghosts and Springtrap, and we're 30 years into the future. Where do we go in Five Nights at Freddy's 4?
In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we go back to 1983.
Wait, we're going back to the Fredbear's Family Diner?
Yes. Well, actually, was it Fredbear? Yeah, it was Fredbear's Family Diner.
Okay, so we're going to the very first location. So this is the prequel game, the real prequel game.
The real prequel game, yes.
Okay, so what happens in this game that's so important?
In this game, you play as a child in his bedroom.
Wait. You're not the security guard?
Nope.
You're a child in your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you survive this game as a child in your bedroom? And if you're not in the freaking restaurant, why aren't you safe?
So, before we talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we're going to have to talk about the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Okay, what is the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 4?
In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you play as William Afton's kid.
William Afton's kid?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, well that can't be fun.
So I should go back to Five Nights at Freddy's 1 for a second.
Okay.
During one of the phone calls, there's this slightly disturbing part where they actually had to close the previous location due to an event that they call the Bite of 87.
What in the world is the Bite of 87?
Did you know somebody can survive without their frontal lobe?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. What is the Bite of 87?
One of the animatronics bit the frontal lobe off of a child.
Why?
We'll get to that. Back to Five Nights at Freddy's 4. In the story, there are, I think, William Afton has 3 kids.
Uh-huh.
He has the Crying Child, is what we call him. We call him the Crying Child.
Okay.
We have Michael Afton.
Yeah.
And we have Elizabeth Afton.
Okay.
You never see Elizabeth Afton in the game.
Okay.
Michael Afton loves to torture his little brother, the Crying Child. Michael Afton's kid, the Crying Child, is deathly afraid of the animatronics.
William Afton's kid, you mean?
The Crying Child, yes.
Yeah.
He's deathly afraid of the animatronics. He hates the animatronics. So that's why his big brother, Michael Afton, likes to go around wearing a Foxy mask and scaring the shit out of his little brother.
Okay. So, his big brother's a dick, and I guess you play as the Crying Child?
You play as the Crying Child in his bedroom, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Throughout the story, you keep getting scared by your big brother. You go to the thing, you see the purple guy doing his job. He's not even doing anything weird. He's just suiting up another person to go out as Fredbear and be like, "Hey kids, it's me, Fredbear," you know?
Yeah.
He starts suiting up. He's just doing his job, and you head into one of the side rooms, and it's filled with this disembodied animatronic parts. Nothing even. It's just animatronic parts. But the kid, he's scared of these animatronics because he sees what his dad does. He kills people. He saw him kill that kid, and so he's terrified of the animatronics.
Okay.
During the final night of the game, Michael Afton, in a fit of, he's a big brother scaring the shit out of his little brother because, he's a big brother, right? So,
You tried to scare Link a lot.
Him and his friends get together, and they're just like, "Come on, let's bring him to Fredbear." And they bring him up to Fredbear, and he's like, "Oh, he wants to give Fredbear a kiss." So they lift him up to Fredbear, and his head gets stuck in Fredbear's mouth.
The Crying Child's head?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And it crunch. Turns out that William Afton's kid the entire time was the victim of the Bite of 87. But actually, we should talk about that. This is one of the only times that actually gets retconned. There's a retcon. It was the Bite of 87, but the Bite is actually in 1983.
1983.
Yeah.
So they call it the Bite of 87, but it happened in 83, and it happened at Fredbear's Family Diner.
Yes.
Which is the original Freddy Fazbear's location.
The very first.
Okay. So the entirety of the game is... What do you do in the game?
So in the game, you play as the... So those mini games actually happened in the past, but the actual gameplay itself, you are the Crying Child, fighting off the nightmares that he has of the animatronics trying to come kill him.
Oh.
The animatronics in this game look horrifying. They have these sharp, jagged teeth. They're all ripped up. They're larger than they've ever been. You can hear them stomping around in your halls, and you don't even have doors anymore. You got Freddy you have Freddy behind you under the bed. You have Bonnie and Chica on your left and right doors, and there's Foxy in your closet, and they all look horrifying. Foxy has this snake tongue.
So how do you stop them?
Well, you only have a flashlight, so when you go to a door, if you hear breathing from the other side, you have to close the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you stop Freddy from under the bed?
He has these little Fred dolls that also look horrifying, and they sit on top of the bed.
Yeah.
And you have to use your flashlight to scare them away. But if too many Freddles, that's what they're called Freddles. Too many accumulate in your bed, Freddy will jump scare you.
Okay.
And Foxy, he's very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's 1. You have to keep checking on him in order to make sure that he doesn't jump scare you.
Okay. So, again, the jump scare is they kill you.
Yeah.
So, and of course, they'll open the doors back up if you close the doors.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is So that had to be terrifying for that kid.
Yeah.
All right.
But none of those are real. That's why their names are Nightmare Freddy and Nightmare Chica, because they're nightmares.
Okay. So, what do we do after 4? Where do we go?
Sister location.
Sister location. So somebody opened up another Freddy Fazbear's.
Not exactly.
What do you mean?
Okay, so Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 4 so when Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 3 came out, 3 was supposed to be the final game.
Sounds like it.
Because it's like, oh, this is who the killer is, and he died, and you just defeat him. At the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the main character sets Fazbear's Frights on fire and burns everything inside.
So it's all gone. We're done.
Yeah. Springtrap is dead.
So how do we get a game after 4? I mean, I understand 4 is the kids' nightmares. What do we get after 4?
Well, I want to talk about that for a second. When Five Nights at Freddy's 3 came out, Scott Cawthon made another one after 3 for the funniest reason possible.
What's that?
People didn't like the jump scare in 3.
They didn't.
No, they didn't. So, in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Springtrap's jump scares are not that great.
Okay, so what did he do to change it?
He did. He just made another one. He couldn't end the series like that.
So he made another game.
He made another game because people didn't like the jump scare.
And what was the other game?
Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And then Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was supposed to be the final one.
Okay.
But Five Nights at Freddy's 4 left so much lore on the table that couldn't just be left alone, that he had to make another one, Sister Location. But Sister Location is a big turning point. But before we start on Sister Location, let's talk about where the books had gotten us when it came to game lore.
Okay, so where did the books get us?
Well, after Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the games and series in general take a big turn.
What do you mean they take a turn?
It stops being horror and starts being sci-fi horror.
Okay, why is it now sci-fi horror?
Because everything is futuristic.
Well, yeah, everything is futuristic. I mean, you've got animatronics that can move around in the 1980s. That wasn't a thing. Trust me, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're probably terrified that they would start moving around. I can imagine, having a nightmare about Chuck E. Cheese coming out and ripping your head off, but...
But I mean, they, leaned heavily into the sci-fi aspect.
Okay.
It starts getting crazy. I'm not even kidding.
All right.
The books, at this point, you learn about Elizabeth Afton.
Ah, yeah. William Afton's daughter that you've not seen yet, you've just heard of.
Mm-hmm. So, in the books, Elizabeth Afton is a robot.
She's a what?
She's a robot.
She's a what?
She's a robot.
That does not make any sense. Why in the world is his daughter a robot?
Well, because she died.
She died?
Elizabeth Afton dies.
How?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Why can't you tell me?
Well, Elizabeth Afton in the books is important because she has a lot of details that lead into her appearance in the game.
Okay, so Elizabeth Afton is dead. You're going to tell me later how she died. Mm-hmm. And she's a robot.
So, William Afton is... When I said he was good with animatronics, I mean he's an evil genius who can make robots with sentience.
Apparently so. He made a daughter.
Yeah. So, he takes this thing called Remnant, and he puts it into this machine, and the machine becomes his daughter.
You were talking about the Remnant before. That's what got put into the first ones in Fazbear's in Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was actually just ghosts, but I think maybe it's Remnant. See, there's a lot.
It's very confusing, it sounds like.
It's very confusing. But Remnant is basically souls, but sci-fi. It's basically literally like a juice that has anger and hatred in their soul inside of it. And William Afton has figured out the mystery behind it, and he starts injecting it into animatronics.
So he's putting this stuff in to fuel the animatronics, which gives the animatronics life, and they start killing people. What does this have to do with Elizabeth Afton?
Well, Elizabeth Afton in the games also suffers a similar fate. There was a sister location to Five Nights at to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria.
Okay. So to the original location had a sister location.
Yes. I think it was called Baby Circus Party.
Baby Circus Party?
It was a puppet girl, and she had twin tails, and she had ice cream dispenser.
Okay.
But William Afton is do not forget, William Afton is a fucking weirdo. It's also a machine meant to kill little kids. Like, it's literally programmed in order to get children to follow it, come to it on its own, and then stuff and scoop their insides inside of it.
Oh my god. Okay. William Afton really was a psycho killer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is evil.
Okay. So, what happens with Elizabeth at the sister location?
Well, William Afton warns his daughter, you stay away from that animatronic, right?
Yeah.
You don't go near that animatronic, because William Afton is a psychopath, but he loves his kids.
Okay. He's got to be really mad about the one getting its head bit off.
Yep. He was very angry about that.
Okay.
William Afton's daughter, Elizabeth, doesn't listen to him. So Baby actually lures Elizabeth with ice cream and then kills William's daughter.
So that's how William's daughter died, is by Baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so he brings her back as a robot.
Well, actually, that's in the books.
Okay.
I think. In this case, her soul just gets put into Baby.
So Elizabeth Afton is in Baby.
Yes.
And Baby is the killer in Sister Location.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else in Sister Location?
Well, Sister Location doesn't take place in the Sister Location.
Where does it take place?
It takes place in a giant underground facility under William Afton's house.
He has a giant underground facility? What has he got down there?
Animatronics.
What kind of animatronics?
Evil ones.
Yeah, but which ones?
Funtime Freddy.
Oh, that doesn't sound like fun.
Funtime Foxy.
Yeah, again, Foxy's never fun.
Bon Bon.
Bon Bon? Who's Bon Bon?
He's a little hand puppet that Funtime Freddy has.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. And Ballora.
Ballora?
It's a ballerina dancer.
Ballerina dancer. And then Baby.
And then Baby.
Oh my gosh. And who are you in this game?
That's the fun part.
What?
In this game, you play as Mike.
Michael Afton?
Absolutely. You play as William Afton's son.
Oh my gosh. So you're the jerk that fed your brother to Freddy, and now you're in the underground facility with your dead sister and all these other psycho animatronics.
Yep.
Oh man. Oh wow. That does not sound like fun at all. How does this game end?
So Sister Location has this really weird structure. A lot of people don't like it because it's very linear and story based, and the gameplay can be really weird at times and unbalanced. But throughout the game, you basically follow like instructions that William Afton left in order to, keep up with the animatronics and make sure that they don't go crazy and start trying to escape.
So this is after William Afton has disappeared, even though we all know he's dead.
Yeah.
You don't know where he is, so you're just following orders. Being dead, he's a good little soldier.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
there you go, folks.
Well, actually, no. Michael hates his father.
So why is he doing what his dad wants?
Well, because he's trying to figure out what his dad was doing.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to figure out what happened.
Figure out what happened, yeah. Figure out all the stuff that his dad was up to.
All right. And let's remember, William Afton was up to some pretty bad stuff.
Uh-huh. At the end of the game, Michael Afton dies.
How does he die?
Well, Baby acts like an ally throughout the game, supposedly doing what's best for you.
Yeah.
But eventually brings you to what they call the scooping room. This is the scooping room. The scooping room, with one fell swoop, rips out all of the insides of an animatronic. Except they do it on you. A person.
Oh, so they kill you right there at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's not exactly the end of Sister Location. After Sister Location came out, Scott Cawthon actually released an update called Custom Night, which actually adds more details and tells you what happens after Michael Afton gets killed by the scooper.
And what is that?
Well, the entire plan is that all 4 animatronics from Sister Location break themselves up and then turn into this amalgam of their animatronic parts called Ennard, which looks like a clown.
Uh-huh.
So after they scoop out all of Michael Afton's bits and pieces,
yeah,
like all of his inside organs, they shove themselves into Michael Afton.
They wear Michael Afton?
They wear his body as like a disguise.
And go out into the world like Michael Afton?
Yeah, literally.
Okay. So I'm assuming there's a game after this.
The final game.
Okay, what is the final game?
Well, real quick. Eventually, Ennard, when you wear a corpse, the corpse doesn't stop rotting.
Decomposing, yes.
So eventually, his body literally turns purple.
And he becomes a purple guy.
Well, he doesn't become the purple guy, but he becomes a purple guy.
Okay. All right, so let's go into the final game.
Pizzeria Simulator.
All right. Tell me about it.
Real quick, FNAF World was an RPG series that released before Sister Location. It's just this little it's not fan game, but it's this little game made for the fans. It's an RPG where you play as all the different animatronics and you go on an RPG adventure.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
It sounds like fun. But there we learned about Henry.
Who's Henry?
So William Afton did not create Fredbear's Family Diner by himself. He had a business partner named Henry. Henry had a daughter.
Yeah.
A single daughter.
What's the name of the daughter?
I don't think we ever get her name.
Okay. So what's the deal with Henry? Come on.
Henry has a daughter. And Henry's daughter is actually William Afton's first victim.
He killed his partner's daughter?
Yeah.
What a dick move.
I know, right?
William Afton's. Okay, so what does Henry do?
Well, at the time, there was a puppet in a box. Remember the puppet? Well, that was also in Fredbear's Family Diner.
Okay.
But it was actually called the security puppet because it was literally like a security measure. Well, the puppet actually goes to Henry's daughter, and it turns out that the puppet was actually possessed by Henry's daughter the entire time.
Okay.
And was actually the one putting the souls into the different animatronics.
All right. So in this game, in this next game with the puppet, what happens in this game, the final game?
In Pizzeria Simulator, you play as Michael Afton again.
Okay.
Who,
I thought he was dead.
He should be. I don't think it's really explained. I think it's Remnant or something.
Okay.
Remnant! It's always Remnant.
Yay for the Remnant!
But, eventually, Michael actually meets up and works with Henry. And they come up with a plan. So what they do is they start. So these animatronics are all over the place. You got the 5 animatronics that are walking around with Remnant inside them. The original killed ones. You have the puppet out there somewhere. You've got Ennard out there somewhere. Springtrap comes back.
Okay, so all these animatronics, they're all around. You've got the Withered. You've got the Golden, or the Toy. You're talking about 20 or 30 animatronics so far, and they're all still around. What do William and Henry come up with?
So throughout the game, you play as an entrepreneur creating a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza of your own.
Really?
It's really cool because it goes all the way around back because the final game is a tycoon.
Wait. He started with a failed tycoon, and he ends with a successful tycoon.
With a successful tycoon.
A Freddy Fazbear tycoon game.
Yeah, where you make your own pizzeria.
Okay. So, do you get the animatronics? Is it to attract the animatronics?
Yes, you get it. So the entire point is that you actually create your own pizzeria. You buy animatronics from around, and you actually have to salvage animatronics because this place is gathering all of the animatronics, and all of the animatronics are coming around. So during the day segments, you actually create your own pizzeria, but during the night, you have to defend yourself from the animatronics that you brought into the pizzeria.
So every animatronic you bring in, you have to fight against.
Yes.
But you're trying to get all the animatronics in the pizzeria.
Yes.
So the goal is to get all of them in there.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot of animatronics. That's a lot to defend yourself from.
Yep. In
that
fact,
sounds like a lot of fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun. It's actually the funnest game in the series, in my opinion.
Okay. And so this is the entire FNAF series, and in kind of like a square shot. So what do you think they've got for the movie?
Well, hold on. We're not done yet. Just yet.
Wait, we have more?
There's a little more. Not too much.
Okay, all right. What happens after the final game?
Well, we're not done with the final game.
Wait, we're not done with the final game? I thought the final game was you built the pizzeria and captured the animatronics.
Not before Henry and Michael burn down the place and destroy all of the animatronics.
Oh, so it's actually all over at the end of the final game. They finally ended it.
Yeah, they destroy all of the animatronics.
Every last one of them.
Michael Afton, in fact, goes down with the building, dying with it.
Okay, so every animatronic is destroyed.
Every animatronic is destroyed.
There's nothing hanging out there hiding somewhere.
Michael Afton is destroyed.
Okay.
Henry is probably out there somewhere.
But he doesn't have any animatronics.
Yeah, there's actually this really cool speech that Henry has. Famous, super famous. It's awesome. Henry has a speech where it's like, oh, also Springtrap is there because he came back. And he dies too. So William Afton finally dies for real this time.
All right, so we're rid of Springtrap, we're rid of Michael Afton, we're rid of all the animatronics. So it's over. It's finally over.
Then Ultimate Custom Night came out.
Ultimate Custom Night.
So remember how each game before us had a custom night?
Yes.
Well, Ultimate Custom Night was the 7th entry and basically has all 50 animatronics from the series in one place. Now, you may be wondering, well, what's the lore with that? There isn't. In fact, it's really funny lore. Ultimate Custom Night takes place in Hell. William Afton's Hell. Where he has to act as a security guard and protect himself from all of the animatronics.
So the ultimate ending is that William Afton ends up in hell with his own creations trying to destroy him.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Scott Calvin did really good with this. This turned out to be a really interesting series. And it sounds like it's going to be a really great movie. It comes out on, the 28th, right?
Yeah, but also there's a second canon now.
What do you mean a second canon?
So after Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Custom Night came out, that wasn't the end of the series. In fact, after that, they came out with Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted VR. A VR entry where you get to...
That was on PlayStation VR, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Where you play as a game tester for the new games. Now, I'm not too well-versed on this new lore.
Okay.
But it basically has Help Wanted and the new game, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Okay. I bought you Security Breach.
It wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great? Okay.
I was kind of upset with it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It kind of sucked. I hear the DLC is good.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. So this is a new canon. Do you think the new canon is what the movie's based off of, or the old canon?
Well, in the new game, Security Breach, there's a security officer named Vanessa. And in the movie, there's a police officer with blonde hair and green eyes, just like in the game, named Vanessa.
So do you think it's a combination of the two?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm really interested to see what they do with the lore.
So are you psyched for the movie?
I'm very excited.
Okay. And now that you've given me the rundown of Five Nights at Freddy, I honestly can't wait for this movie. I've got to see. And William Dafoe is playing William Afton, who we now know is just this diabolical and horrible, monstrous of a person. So let's hope he gets his just desserts in the movie. Thanks a lot, Bob. I really appreciate this. This is a great story.
There's a reason that it's as popular as it was. The thing is that we had to figure out this story, piece it together bit by bit, all by ourselves.
That sounds like a lot of hard work to do for a game series, but it sounds like it really worked for the game series, and it's created a buzz, and it sounds like this movie's going to be pretty good. Well,
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, me neither. Guys, that's our movie video game that we're telling you this week. Five Nights at Freddy's is coming out on October 27th. 27th? October 27th. It's going to be out on Peacock and in theaters. It looks like it's going to be awesome. And now you have the backstory from the Five Nights at Freddy's video games. So you can go and sit down and know what to expect and know what this movie and what these games are about and be ready to enjoy it with some popcorn and some friends for some good scares, some good horror. Thanks, Adam, for coming and telling the story. I really appreciate it. And thanks for... I got to go play Five Nights at Freddy's now. This sounds like fun. Again, guys, remember, go to thecarolinastoryteller.com for all your information about Let Me Tell You a Story and The Carolina Storyteller. Get all the links. Check out my guests. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Carolina Storyteller. You can join the Patreon and support the podcast. We really appreciate you guys listening. And as always, stay spooky, my friends.